Hello everybody. Let's do a class for upper back today. So many of us suffer from tension headaches, we get aches and pains in the back and the neck and shoulders, and that's really because in our modern lifestyle we spend a lot of time leaning over and looking down, and then the muscles along the neck, down the upper spine get long and weak, and then we have trouble with them. So let's move all the different muscles in this area today. So we're going to start thinking about your neck, see how your neck's feeling. So gently engage your core right here in the lower belly. Imagine you're pulling the muscles here slightly in towards the spine and slightly up. Not too much, just so that you feel like now the spine is being supported by that, the strength of the abdominal muscles, and then your shoulders can relax. Because what we want to do is be able to drop the right ear to the right shoulder without the shoulders moving. So settle here and tune into how tight you feel between the ear, bottom of the ear, and the tip of the shoulder. How tight does that feel today? Breathing in, let's see how the other side is doing. Over we go. So I always find that this side is tighter. So from the bottom of this ear down, I can feel there's a little bit of tightness here, just in my neck here, and then even down towards my shoulder blade. So in our yoga practice, we're always having the intention, bring come up, bring head up. We'll always have this intention to try to bring the right and the left side of the body into balance. Because if we can do that in our yoga practice, then we can prevent ourselves from going towards more chronic pain and problems. So right ear to right shoulder, breathe into that space. Keep your nose pointing forwards. Breathe in, come up, and over we go to the other side. So if one side feels tighter than the other, you can stay longer on one side. If you're doing this, if you find you have any problems here, you can do this at any time. You can just do a few little side bends to create space here. And you can always have the option of pausing the video so that you can come back to the things that work for you and do them again. Okay, head up. Let's just do a couple of rotations. So your chin comes to the right. Breathe into center. Chin goes all the way to the left. So focus on keeping the chin completely parallel to the floor as you rotate. So it's a true rotation of that neck. Again, the shoulders don't move, isolating. Lovely. And then next time we go around, just do a little push, just push a little bit to create a stretch and then bounce back, and then push a little bit, just enough so you can feel the stretch and then bounce back. Always being really gentle with your beautiful neck. And then chin down, tuck your chin to your throat, give your head a little wriggle here. Imagine either side of that neck, you've got nice long muscles there that connect the base of the skull to the body. So stretch those out. And then as you lift your chin very gently, without crunching neck, keep your neck long and just contract those neck muscles a little bit for strengthening. Stretch them out, tucking your chin. Lift the chin and strengthen as you contract them a little bit. Keep your head lifted. You don't want to flip the head back and crunch the neck. And then one more. Breathing out here and breathing into lift. And then bring the head back to center, and let's think about the shoulders. So roll those lovely shoulders a few times. Nice rotation here. And if you can hear crunching here, that's okay. That just means the muscle fibers are rubbing against each other here. Roll back. Okay, and then lovely rolling movement for the shoulder joint. So think about the top of your arm, you've got a ball joint. So let's explore that as we bring the arms out to the side. Wiggle your fingers, thumbs pointing up. Roll your palms up towards the sky. And then lead with your thumb and roll the hands as far down towards the ground and back as you can go. And then follow that movement through the elbow right up into the ball joint in the shoulders. So as we breathe in, whole arm, the shoulder joint rotates. You can keep your arms quite low to do this. And the stronger you want to work, the more you bring the arms up. If you can bring them to be parallel to the ground, that's the strongest because you've got gravity to work against as well as the rotation. Breathe in as you pick up your thumbs and roll the palms up. Breathe out as you bring the arms to the back of the way. Breathe in, open. Breathe out, roll. Imagine you move from your fingertips all the way to the spine. Lovely. And the next time the palms go up, keep your right palm lifted and just roll the left arm. And then both together going in opposite directions. Try to keep your spine, your torso and your head really still so that we're isolating those joints. And whenever you've done enough of those, bring your arms down. Again, you can do a few more rounds if you need to. Little shake, little roll, and then pick your shoulders up. So, anybody remember the honey monster? Honey monster doesn't have a neck. So pick your shoulders up towards your ears, squeezing your neck, and then breathe out through the mouth as you soften those shoulders towards the ground. Push them down as far as they'll go. Breathing in, bounce the shoulders up. Breathe out. Lovely. Breathe in, honey monster pose. Breathe out, release. Breathe in. Last one. And this movement you can do in a traffic jam, at your desk, anytime you can feel that the shoulders starting to do this as you get more and more stressed through the day, then you can do a few honey monster poses to release that stress in the shoulders. Okay, let's think about the upper spine now. Visualize that your spine, you've got your lumbar spine here on the sacrum, the mid back here where your ribs are, at the bottom of the ribs, and then the top third of your spine. So from the base of the neck towards the base of the shoulder blades. Think about this little section of the spine. And squeeze your shoulder blades together and lift the chin. And then round that upper spine, just the upper spine for about 3 or 4 rounds. And just see if you can isolate, because this part of the spine is quite difficult to move. It's quite easy to move the air around the waist and the middle of the back, but this part of the spine is a little bit more tricky to access. So as you do this movement, feel like you're really squeezing it and opening it, using the shoulder blades. Great. And then let's bring the whole spine into this movement now. I'm just going to come off of the cushion. And if you come back to a neutral spine, tuck your tail under, rock onto the back of your sit bones, pull the belly button back, round your back, hold the knees with your fingers so you don't fall over, tuck your chin. And as you breathe in, come up onto your sit bones and push your tailbone back and roll up, lifting the crown of your head. This is called spinal extension. To feel like you're stretching your whole spine, and this is spinal flexion, curling into a little ball. Lovely. So this is when the hedgehog feels like it's in danger, it curls into a little ball, and then when it feels safe, it uncurls itself. So we reach the crown of the head up and we stretch, and then we curl into a little ball. And notice how this is naturally an out breath, and this is naturally an in breath. Naturally an out breath. So we curl into our safety, and then we open up into the world as we breathe in. Lovely. Okay, and then back to neutral. And then let's do side bends here. So bring your right hand to the floor and just drop your shoulders into a side bend. Come up on the inhale, left hand to the floor, and just draw up into a side bend. So we're not doing this, we're not picking up the hips and lifting. Feel like you're curling your spine rather than leaning. Curling the spine from the tailbone all the way up, visualize the curve. Okay, and then as we come over this time, we're going to pick up the left arm and we're going to come over so we get a nice stretch to the side of the body as well. Breathing in and breathe out. Just rock from side to side, but keep both sit bones pushed into the ground as you curl the spine. Lovely. And keep going. In breath to come up, out breath to come over. You can turn your head slightly if you like, or keep your nose pointing forwards. Lovely. Sometimes my back really clunks when I do this movement. My upper spine get a really satisfying little clunk as the vertebra find a bit more space. Okay, last one over. And back we go. So Let's do a little twist now. You bring your hands forward like this and make soft fists with the hands. So we're going to turn to the right, keep the head pointing forward, and then rotate the whole body to the left. So nice and quite quickly, spin your body around. And because we're sitting, the hips can stay nice and stable. The head can stay nice and still. Whole moving spine, apart from the neck, is getting in rotation here. So get a nice rhythm going. And then like a helicopter, pick up your elbows. Pick up your elbows, pick up your arms until your arms are parallel to the floor. And feel how this position of the arms really works the upper spine. Love this movement. You can feel your shoulder blades kind of pressing in and really moving the muscles of the upper spine. And then let's roll back down to the waist. Notice how now slightly different sensation. And then pick up the elbows again. And then come all the way back down. Lovely. And then let's roll the shoulders again. Shake out arms. So that should have created a bit of heat in the body and a real sense of freedom through the spine. Now we're going to spin over onto our knees into child's pose. Please feel free to have a sip of water as you come over. Come towards the back of your mat. Lovely. Come onto your heels, and you can always pop a cushion here onto your legs if you need to. And slide yourself into a nice child's pose. And just pick up your finger, come onto your fingertips and just wriggle in and open up the shoulders here. And then let the palms come to the ground. And just take a couple of breaths here, really opening the back of the body. And a nice variation is to bring your hands to your feet. And here, if you can reach your feet, let the shoulders drop away to the floor. And if you get real tension between the shoulder blades, this is a nice pose to do for even for like 3 to 5 minutes, where you really just relax here and let the shoulder blades open that space. And you can always support your head with a block or a cushion if you need to. Okay, so let's roll forward into a variation of the cat. Come onto your elbows, interlace your fingers and point your index fingers forward. And your elbows are below your shoulders and your knees and directly below your hips. So you've got a nice stable position. Look at the tips of your fingers as you drop your belly, but keep a gentle engagement in those lower abdominal muscles. Pick up your tailbone, tuck it under and round the spine. Like we did seated, this is flexion for the spine. And as we pick up the tailbone, this is extension. So from your tailbone to the crown, reach. And then as you tuck under, curl into that ball like a hedgehog. And then rounding the spine into the backward bend here to extension. Lovely, and then come back to a neutral spine. Now we're going to bring the palms onto the mat. Pick up the right palm, place it where your right elbow was, and push up your right shoulder so that your wrist, elbow, and shoulder are in line. Keep your core here gently engaged. We're going to do a twist from side to side. For this twist, as we move, watch for a couple of rounds, and then we're going to finish up with just keeping your head neutral, nose pointing to the mat. But watch for a couple of rounds, and then bring your head into a neutral position. So the elbow comes down, back to elbows cat. And the left hand comes onto the floor, and we push up the left shoulder. And we drop that elbow, and then we switch sides. Okay, so core stays engaged. We don't want to collapse into that lower back. So we breathe in as we push up. Just look down at your mat. Don't need to move the head. Breathe out. Bring the elbow down. Other side. Breathe in. Push. Hold on the space between the in and out breath, and breathe out. Come down. Feel how this rotation, the shoulder girdle, is really targeting that upper back. And then let's hold here for a count of 3. So come up and take 3 breaths here. Lovely. Now when you're ready, other side, 3 breaths here. Enjoying the process, not rushing to get to the end. When you've done 3, come down. You can keep your hands like this or interlace the fingers again and just roll through another little round of your little forward and backward bend. Cat pose, cow pose. And then we're going to come into puppy pose. So work your elbows a bit wider. Left lower arm, bring it directly below your forehead. Right lower arm stacks on top. Forehead rests on the lower arms, and then just see if you can sink your chest towards the ground, so that the shoulder blades squeeze in towards each other. And this is called puppy pose, so it's like a modified downward dog, same sort of shape that you're making with your body. A few nice whooshy out breaths there as you really let that upper back get a massage from the shoulder blades. One more in breath, one more out breath, and then push up on your in breath. Come back onto your elbows, back into elbows cat, and hopefully that has created a bit more range of movement through that upper spine. So just test that out, see how that is. Okay, and then let's roll back. This time, wide knee child. Take your knees to the edges of your mat and cross the feet are touching. And then you're going to drop down right between the knees. So bring the rib cage right between those knees. Keep the, you can put the cushion underneath your sit bones if you need to. And then let's walk here. And I love this posture because you can have a little rock here. And you can really feel like you just open the hips a little bit. Settle here. Again, chest comes close to the floor. Tuck your chin, head on the floor. Take your breath here. And then we're going to walk the hands to the right and line your ribs up against the inner thigh and have your arms stretched out in line with your shoulders. Pick up your left hand onto your left fingertips and just open up that left shoulder. 3 really nice deep breaths here. So from the waist right way through to the hand, feel a lovely stretch out there, really targeting that shoulder joint and the shoulder blade. Lower the palm when you're ready. Walk the hands to center. Let's stay on this side. Push into your right palm and slide the left hand underneath the armpit and roll onto your side of your head. So I'm on the left side of my head, I've got my left arm underneath, pointing directly out, and then I'm going to come onto my right fingertips. If that's not comfy, let the right arm relax on the ground. I'm going to press in and tuck my shoulder under a little bit more, oh that's better. And then really feel like I'm creating some space in the upper spine and around the shoulder blades. Okay, let's push up on the in breath. Come back to center and let's see how if we can feel the difference from the right side and the left side. And then walk the hands all the way to the left. This time your right fingertips are going to come onto the mat if that's comfortable to really create some space around the right shoulder blade, into the joint. 3 nice breaths here. Pushing your ribs against the inside of the left thigh. Lower the palm when you're ready. Come back to center when you're ready. This time we press into the left palm, slide the right hand underneath the left armpit. I've got a wall in the way, but don't worry about that. So you should have your left arm along the floor, my hands on the wall, so the wall's in the way. And then you can either relax the left arm down or come up onto the left fingertips. Choose a position here. Tuck under a bit more if you can get a little bit more of a rotation and settle. And then come back to center when you're ready. And from there, settle there. Notice if both sides feel nice and stretched out now. We're going to come into, we're going to come onto the belly next. So Roll from your toes all the way down onto your belly. And then we're going to extend the arms above the head. Okay. And then from here, we're going to do some movements for the shoulders. So your arms are in line with your shoulders. And spread the fingers, place the palms on the ground, tuck your chin, forehead tucked onto the floor, chin tucked in. And then just bend your right elbow and bring your right palm to face in front of you. So try not to turn the hand. So try not to turn the hand in towards the head. Keep the palm facing forwards and lower. So engage your core this time as you bring up your left hand. Just slightly engage your core to protect your lower back. And then lower. Do that 3 times to each side. Notice how that's working the shoulder. Up on the in breath, down on the out breath. And then we're going to do both arms together. So both arms lift up. Keep your palms facing forwards and hold. Come down if you need to, but hold if you feel that's really working quite hard there. Strengthening around the upper back, upper ribs, shoulder blades, and down. Left. Look up, give yourself a little wiggle. This time we're just going to lift the arm off the floor like that in a straight line. So right arm comes up on the inhale. Keep your core engaged. Notice as you lift one arm at a time, how many muscles in your back is needed to do that movement. You feel that, how that pull of gravity is so powerful. When we have to resist gravity, it takes quite a lot of effort. Wherever we're contracting, we're pulling away from gravity, we're strengthening. So all these movements are really good for strengthening the back. Okay, we're going to do 3 of those to each side with the breath. Bring both arms up on the inhale, lower on the exhale. Another time, and one more time. This time bring up the legs as well. Lift the head off the mat. And then spin your arms around like Superman. And you might find you can lift your chest a little bit more. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. And lower. Love that movement. And then wiggle your hips from side to side. This time bring your arms into a right angle at the side of your body, out as if you're stopping the traffic. Okay. This movement's a bit more complicated. We're going to lift the arm up and we're going to tuck the elbow in. We want to imagine that we're tucking the shoulder blade in towards the spine and pushing the shoulder blades down towards the waist. So the arm comes up like this, and then we tuck in and we squeeze the shoulder blade in and down. And then release. So the left arm comes up, elbow comes in, shoulder blade comes in, squeeze. Remember, whenever we squeeze, we're contracting, we're strengthening, and then we release. Right side up. Use your core so that you're not using your lower back. Left side. And then you can keep doing singles, or you can bring both arms up, squeeze both elbows in, lift the head. And lower. Great. Have a little rest with your hips from side to side. And then from here, we're going to come up and into child. And just have a little rest in child. And just stretch that out. Have a little rock from side to side. And then last couple of movements. Let's come on to the elbows like we did for cat. This time, extend your toes behind you and come into a low plank. Elbows directly below your shoulders. And then from here, hold. And then you can drop onto your knees for a little rest if you like. So when we hold plank, all over body strengthening definitely, but the low plank really is good for targeting the shoulders. So look at the tips of your fingers, have your index fingers extended. Keep your neck into that nice neutral position. Drop to the knees when you need a little rest. From low plank, We can hold here for as long as you like, or you can push the hips up, walk the feet forward, bend the knees, come into a little modified dog. Have a little rest. Have a little rock here. So play with this as much as you like. So lower plank, work that if you really feel that's beneficial. Ease in and out of downward dog and into low plank if you like, or drop to the knees, a little rest. Push the hips back into that kind of puppy pose. Play with those couple of postures and see what works for you. And let's all finish in a nice modified dog. Walk your feet forward, find that little movement there with heels, rock the hips a little bit. 3 nice deep breaths in this inversion, breathing in through the nose, through the mouth. And then walk your feet back and let's drop into Sphinx from here. So hold your plank and then drop the thighs, drop the belly, and you can release the hands and come into Sphinx pose. Wiggle your hips, wiggle your shoulders, tuck your chin and reach the crown towards the sky. From here, breathe into center, breathe out, rotate to the right. See if you can see your feet in your peripheral vision. Breathe into center, try to relax the glutes and the legs so that your back muscles are doing the work. And a twist to the right. To the center and a twist to the left. Back to center. Breathe in, press into the palms. And breathe out, roll down. So here you can come into child's pose, or if you'd like to try cobra, bring your hands under your shoulders, tuck your elbows into your ribs, engage your core. Inhale, roll your nose on the mat and push up. Keep your pubic bone on the ground and just settle here for a couple of breaths. It's really good for strengthening the arms, the shoulders. If you need to squeeze the glutes a little bit to protect the lower back, please feel free to do that. You can relax them and more strengthening, but don't ever compromise your lower back for any yoga posture. Roll yourself down nice and slowly. And let's tuck your toes, push up into swan stretch, which is like a child but with the toes tucked under. And then from here, let's push up into full downward dog. So pick up your knees, soften the knees, walk your feet out hip width apart, ears above your upper arms. Reach your heels towards the floor as much as you can, but without rounding your back. And then take a couple of nice deep breaths here. And then to finish, we can come onto the knees and roll back onto the belly. Bring your hands underneath your forehead. Take your feet wide. Drop your heels in. Kneecaps and toes go out. And then we really melt the body towards the ground. I like to actually release my arms and put my head on one side. Nice deep inhale. Let your body melt into the ground. Close your eyes. Stay there for a couple of breaths. Send your breath right down to the belly. Breathe out. Let your body melt into the ground. Feel as if you can sense the curvature of the earth beneath your body and you're just hugging into the beautiful surface of the earth. Every out breath, your shoulders get really heavy and you drop your body down to the ground as much as possible. After a few deep breaths, let your breath just come nice and soft and natural wherever your breath wants to go is fine. And let a complete sense of stillness come over your whole body. If you've got your head turned on one side, slowly turn it onto the other side. As well, all as well. And that stillness. You can stay in crocodile. This is called Makarasana crocodile. You can stay in this crocodile pose for as long as you like. You roll over onto your back into a shavasana. You could do yoga nidra now if you like, or choose another yoga asana series, everyday yoga. And if you finished your crocodile pose, come into child, and then settle for a couple of breaths, and then go into the rest of your day. Namaste, everybody. Stay down in the crocodile if you're happy there. Stay. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Namaste.